Hi, hi, hi. 1 second, letting folks in. Cord is being a little crazy. We'll make that work. Or not. Hi, hi. All
Hello.
right. It's good to see you guys. We'll see who else shows up, but we can go ahead and get started. If y'all want to jump in with any questions you have, I'd love to answer them.
Yeah, thank you. This is amazing. I'm excited.
Yay!
My niche is toddlers and preschoolers with tantrums and aggressive behaviors. Thank you for
Uh-huh.
that. That was very
Yeah.
helpful. My ideal client is highly educated, where I am in a university town, so maybe professors or somebody who works at the university. So they're already knowledgeable. They might even do research. They look up, they read, but there's still like things that are hard. The way I want to give back is do YouTube and free workshops. And I really do want a free workshop because I still value giving information
Mhm.
to, but I also have to be careful because I have very limited energy and I have to rest and sleep quite a lot. Otherwise, I
Mhm.
get sick. I don't usually do social media, but I'm okay using it as a tool. So I taught myself to go to abundance practice, to like a local networking, like for therapists. So I want to create a Facebook group specifically for professionals in any career dealing, like working with families and children, so we can refer to each other. So I love doing workshops, and I was thinking of doing workshops maybe through a local library because, like, when I'm go to the library, I have a 5-year-old myself. I notice that there's lots of folks who are very diverse, but also they tend to take time and effort to like be there with their kids and to do things for their kids. So I was wondering about any additional suggestions for marketing. I do want to charge 165, but on Psychology Today, I saw that a lot of people charge 125, but I was also looking for people who take insurance because I was looking at either for myself or for whatever. So like I am charging more than a lot of folks are. So any more strategies for marketing?
Yeah. Okay. So the Facebook group, I always feel like I want to warn people a little bit about Facebook groups.
Okay.
Because I had a big free Facebook group. Might have been before any of y'all were thinking about private practice. It was a while ago, but it had tens of thousands of people in it. And while it was smaller, it was amazing. And I loved it and it was great. And also, the country was less divided and intense than it is right now. It's really hard to ethically separate out politics from
Mm-hmm.
our day-to-day lives because they impact us. Like the people for
Mm-hmm.
whom politics aren't impacting their day-to-day lives have a lot of privilege, right? So,
Yes.
um, it got to the point where anytime anything bad happened in the world, my first thought wasn't, this is tragic, or what do we do about this as a society? It was always like, oh shit, the Facebook group is going to be a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there was like when George Floyd was murdered, I think there were several of us who spent about 12 hours in the group just like keeping people from verbally punching each other in the face. So I say that about Facebook groups because it sounds lovely at first. It sounds like a really great way to create community, but there is this downside, and I think you know, as America is right now. It's just such a mess. So there's my
That's a
caveat. There's
great.
more warning for
Mm-hmm.
you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so okay, I'm hearing workshops as something that you want to do, and I think that can be really valuable, especially like if you enjoy public speaking and you like to teach and you like to give back. I think that's a really valuable way to bring people in. I don't know if I share about this in the party or if I did in the Facebook group, but there is a therapist turned coach, I believe, who goes to my daughter's school and talks to these middle school kids about drugs. So she talks to them, and then she has this event where a parent and their kid has to show up for one of them to go. And so you are
Mm-hmm.
in there, and she facilitates this whole discussion where you aren't with your own kid. Like the parents kind of get mixed up into not their own kids' small groups. And you learn so much more about one another because both the parents and the kids are being open about their experience with things like peer pressure and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
she gets so many clients because it is interactive in a way that feels safe. Um,
Uh-huh.
and so, with most middle school kids, they're not going to be as open with their own parents sitting right there as some rando parent. So thinking about that for yourself and how you would make sure that it is interactive and safe. Certainly, like your preschoolers aren't going to be like having a conversation with the adults about how they feel, right? But um, getting really clear about what you can do to help people get a sense of what it would be like to work with you instead of just lecturing at them.
Yeah, yeah. So I do have an opportunity to, I have a professor who has asked me to speak in her classes. I believe it's going to be a third time. And this
Hmm.
time I was like, hey, what if I just bring in some skills that they can walk away with skills?
Yeah.
And I I'm from Kyrgyzstan, so I did a workshop for graduate students there and they loved it. So I feel like I have this approach where I want people to walk away with something that they can right away put to use.
Hmm.
And I was thinking of reaching out. I have a really good relationship with professor that I did have. Like, I mean, I don't have it ongoing, but I feel free to contact them.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I was also wondering if you have any ideas how to reach more um, of my ideal clients.
Yeah. Are you wanting to provide the workshops to referral sources or to the clients themselves?
I think both because I'm really passionate about working with like emerging clinicians. So
Hmm.
like talking to like and maybe even giving workshops like skill building to like graduate psychology students. Like that's just fun for me.
Hmm.
And at the same time, like doing workshops for parents. My hope for the future is to have like a coaching parenting business, but I need to focus on one thing at a time
Hmm.
because I really would like to reach out to a wide range of folks. And my strength is I do what is called parenting therapy, but basically we process where are you coming from? Where are your kids coming from? I don't just tell them what to do, but
Hmm.
we're kind of like understand things deeply. And then I see lasting results. Like my recent success story, a parent did not yell at their kid for a month and a half, and their kid is starting to trust that. And he stopped eloping, he stopped aggressive behaviors, tantrums, all of that. So I think for both, for the referral sources and for the potential clients.
Hmm. The graduate students you've taught, have you ever gotten any referrals from them? Are they in a position yet to refer?
Well, I am in a community mental health right now, so I haven't
Hmm.
yet built my
Oh, got it.
practice.
Okay.
But
Got it.
I have had some folks contact me, oh, this client, like this person I know suggested to work with you. Like, so I'm starting to get this here and there,
Yeah.
but I don't advertise currently because, I'm in a community mental health. We have a wait list already.
Right, right. Okay, got it. So I think creating your two different workshops then for potential referral sources, it's going to look really different than the parent one, even though some of these referral sources are parents in the same situation as your ideal client, but you have the opportunity to show your expertise in two different ways. So I'd have kind of two signature talks that you shop out. Um, you mentioned that you are charging 165 and a lot of people around you are charging 125. A lot of people that you're seeing on site today are charging 125. That doesn't necessarily mean that is the price where you are.
Mhm.
Um, so real quick, what is your zip code?
47401.
47401?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so the median household income there is pretty similar to where I live actually at 65,000 per
Okay.
year. So you're going to be fine at that price point for sure. You could do more if you wanted to. It's in kind of a solid middle of the road for that kind of household income.
And I
Um,
invest a lot of money on my education too. Like I get a lot of supervision. So like I kind of need that
yeah, yeah.
income. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to justify to me. I want your price to be exactly what you want your price to be. Um, yeah, yeah. So in terms of other marketing, like making sure it sounds like you're well networked already, that you already have good potential referral sources. So it's strengthening those, particularly if they are the people that your ideal clients go to before they find you. So I would also get in with some of the daycares in
Hmm.
town. offer to do your parent workshop there.
Hmm.
If there are any novel de-escalation tricks you have that could help the daycare workers, they know what they're doing. So it would really need to be novel. We don't want to assume they don't know things. But if there are some things that you could share with them that would make their job easier, then it helps them be like, oh yeah, Elmira's the one you want.
Yeah,
Your kid's having a hard time. Here's who you need to see. So,
that's
um,
great. Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm doing a workshop for where my child is, and I'm collaborating with another daycare provider. So I
Uh-huh.
could even ask her, like, ooh, like, what could I do? What maybe even her and I could do together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to meet you. Not on Facebook, like on a real
Almira, yeah.
screen. Yeah.
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 Thank you.
Who else has a question? Yeah, Karen.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
I have a few questions. I guess they're all kind of connected, but would you say that marketing is pretty much the same way for those who do accept insurance as those who um, are just full private pay?
Great question. Um, the the job of marketing itself is the same. You
Okay.
have to be much more intentional when you're private pay,
Okay.
and your niche has to be ever more clear when you're private
Hmm.
pay. Simply because if I'm going to choose not to use my insurance, it's because I'm convinced you're the one.
Gotcha.
Whereas if I am going to use my insurance, sometimes good enough is good enough, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And because you
Okay.
also don't have insurance feeding you people,
Hmm.
you've got to work harder to be found.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And then my next question is I did start off on some of the therapy platforms, and I
Hmm.
now want to start transitioning off of
Hmm.
those. I did get credentialed with two insurances on my own just because um, they're higher paying insurances, and then I prefer to be able to answer all of my clients' questions and just do the billing myself because it just sounds safer. And so what steps would you encourage me to take to step away from the therapy platforms?
Hmm. I've been helping so many people do this lately, so this is a good
Okay.
it's a good question. So you need a timeline. So,
Okay.
like, at what point does it feel safe to step away? If you're staying on the insurance that people on the platform are using,
Mm-hmm.
like if those are insurances that you've gotten individually credentialed with, then that's going to be fairly smooth. Those people are
Okay.
pretty likely to stay with you. Um, but there is this certain like fear that everybody's going to have when they make the transition. You
Mm-hmm.
are going to lose some people. That's okay.
Okay.
So figuring out financially exactly what you need so that you're not holding your breath,
Okay.
creating any sort of cushion you can around savings so that like not only are you not holding your breath because you're bringing in enough to cover everything,
Mm-hmm.
but like you have some savings that you can count on just in case for those anxious moments. You can be like, yeah, yeah, but I've got
Gotcha.
enough.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll also say, I know that I'm telling the ideal. Not everybody can create that situation by the time they feel like they really need to get off these platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So like, this is the ideal. You're not in a huge rush. Things aren't super toxic
Okay.
kind of a situation. I would go really hard on all your marketing. So be
Okay.
so clear about your niche, so clear on your 5 marketing strategies, and do them so consistently. Most
Mm-hmm.
people, because it's been like a really weird year for referrals almost across the board, um,
Mm-hmm.
I would look at like, is there some consistency you can count on? Like, can you count on 2 clients a month? And if
Okay.
month after month you're getting 2 or more clients a month, then you can almost rely on it. It's going to be
Gotcha.
janky in the summer. It's going to be janky in December for some of us.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that there's enough consistency that after X number of months, you're going to be full, it's going to be great. Looking at
Okay.
how long your ideal clients typically stay with you. Some of us do really short-term therapy. In
Mm-hmm.
every 4 sessions, they're done. And that
Yeah.
requires a lot more marketing. And then some of us have clients that stay with us for years. So looking at your average
Okay.
length of treatment. So it's a
Gotcha.
lot of numbers, but they're all like therapist friendly numbers. There's no
Gotcha.
trigonometry. Yeah, no
Yeah.
calculus involved, just a lot of like multiplication and division and stuff.
So pretty much thinking
So
about how things are flowing now to
yeah,
create my timeline.
yeah. And if you're like, oh, I don't feel like there's consistency, then I want you to increase your marketing in whichever areas are working best.
Okay. Got it. Um, and then I think my next question is one of the um next steps I wanted to take in marketing because I do really well with like virtual things,
Mhm.
but my heart skips a beat when I think about like going to like a doctor's office or things like that, which I think would be good because my niche is for, the burnt out mom, the working mom, trying to balance all the things. And so I wanted to begin networking with like doctors' offices, but I get really nervous. I mean, I'm willing to do it, but
Mhm.
like, what would be like, I guess, the easiest way to start that?
Yeah. So phone is the
Okay.
easiest way. So I would think about your ideal client and what her complaints are at the doctor. She might
Okay.
not be saying I'm burned out. She might be saying like, I think I need some blood work because I'm just like so fatigued. Like I'm
Okay.
so tired. This is super common. Like every PCP has many, many women in their office today that is,
Mm-hmm.
struggling with fatigue. So it may be related to mental health stuff. It may not. But thinking about your ideal client and what she's presenting with, writing down a script because the medical model is very different from our chatty way of
Okay.
being. And
Yeah.
so write your script out and say, I'd like to talk to the referral coordinator. Some offices are going to have one, some aren't. Some are going
Okay.
to have like the front desk staff. And if they're like, we don't have one, you say, okay, great. Who do I talk to about referrals? And
Okay.
it'll probably be front desk staff if they don't have a referral coordinator or perhaps a nurse. And I
Mm-hmm.
want you to have like a nice tight spiel. Like, hi,
Okay.
I'm Karen. So tight, you can't even say your name right. I'm Karen. And I'm a therapist in town. I work with women who are feeling really fatigued and really overwhelmed, and it's starting to impact their well-being. They're usually moms. And I know that a lot of my clients end up in doctor's offices that are doing
Okay.
blood work for them or
Mm-hmm.
like checking things out. So I wanted to see what would be a good next step for getting on your referral list.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
So
All
you don't
right.
have to just like show up with a plant or anything like
Cookies or
that.
something. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would start with your own doctor's office if possible.
Okay.
Um, uh, if you have kids, your kids' pediatrician's office, and think
Okay.
about like these women are likely talking to their PCPs or their gynecologists about this.
Okay.
So, often one PCP's office that really trusts you, and this is a big, they have a large number of these clients probably because this is
Mm-hmm.
a lot of women in America. Then, I mean, even just one could fill your practice most likely.
Okay.
If you're more likely to get insurance-based clients from these doctors' office, like the typical doctor's office, you
Mm-hmm.
could also go to concierge practices, that or naturopaths, functional medicine docs. So I would think about your ideal clients and where they go.
Okay.
And yeah, I think
Awesome.
you'll be pleasantly surprised. Some of them may be really brusque because they're busy. It's not
Mm-hmm.
personal.
Gotcha.
Some of like nobody's gonna want to chit chat, but if you keep it really tight and you're able to like send them whatever they ask for, whether it's credentials,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's just cards in the mail, whatever. If
Okay.
they're like, oh, you could send us some cards, I would go with the cards and just
Okay.
be like, hey, we spoke yesterday. Here are my cards.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
yeah,
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Who's next? Okay, Monica raised her virtual hands. We'll go Monica, then Danielle.
Hi.
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 I launched my website in April and I moved off of Insurance Headway this year, January.
Uh-huh.
And so far, I don't have any clients. I have a full-time job, so I'm not writing on this, but
Hmm.
I would like this to flourish. And so
Yeah.
far, nothing's happening.
Hmm.
I've sent emails to about 25 doctors who work for a woman-centric medical facility. None
Hmm.
of them responded. I reached out to some probate lawyers. My niche is women who are mourning the death of a loved one.
Hmm.
So far, 32 people have seen my Psychology Today video, 167 have looked at my profile, and no one has reached out to me.
Okay. How specific is your Psych Today profile?
So the only thing that's missing is the women piece, but the first sentence, it has to do with grief. So I feel like I'm, in range for the
Mhm.
Psych Today profile.
I would say, so like the Psych Today data I find very interesting because sometimes people just click on your profile because they like your picture. Sometimes they accidentally click on you. So I think we can't always count on their data to give us good information because I don't know that it's valuable data, I'll say. Even though like I like that they give it, I guess, but people also need to see you like between 7 and 11 times before they decide to call you. So it's also looking at how are you being found outside of Psych Today. Doctors' offices, probate lawyers, these folks are going to be much harder to get in with than other people who are seeing your clients. So like working with kid grief specialists, for instance, who are seeing the kids in these families and the parent needs some support. Um, Finding like couples counselors. Is it necessarily a partner that died, or could it be a parent that died?
It could be anyone,
Anybody. Okay, anybody died. So like thinking about where people go, like there's strain on a relationship when somebody close to you dies, right? Like you're not able to function in the way that you might have, keep the household running, keep work running, all of that. There's more pressure on the partner, right? So couples therapists who are like, oh, so and so in this couple really needs support. Um, so thinking about the therapists that don't want to do what you do necessarily, like the one-on-one with the person who is experiencing this grief, and finding the other grief counselors who are full. And you don't always know if somebody is full, but if they've been around a long time, if they have, like, if you've heard of them before and you've been hearing about them for years, they're probably full. So connecting with them because they need somebody they can trust to refer to.
Okay. I've also reached out to about 30 funeral homes
Hmm.
in the area, and they were receptive. A couple of them were interested in having a group on site. I actually don't really think that's a good idea for me, but I've been thinking about offering them like an hour-long free talk on grief.
Okay. Thinking about your ideal clients, do they want to go to like a psycho ed on grief?
Yeah, um, I don't know. I'm just kind of grasping at straws here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a website, you've got networking that we're talking about right now, you've got a Psych Today. What other marketing strategies are you using?
Um, I was going to call the VA, and also like long-term care facilities.
Hmm.
Um, but that's kind of it.
Okay, so sounds like more networking. And with the VA, they're mostly going to refer in-house when it's appropriate. Like it depends on what services they offer where you are. Um, Similarly, like we want to kind of avoid spending our time on group practices if what we offer is offered in-house, because the business model of all of these systems is just to keep it in. Um, so I think if you've got a website that you feel pretty solid about, like it speaks to your niche, it speaks to your client struggles, it talks more about them than you, then we need to get more people to find it. And that's what those other two marketing strategies are going to be. Um, so that might be SEO, which is going to include blogging. That might be, uh, come on, brain. That might be social media. If you don't hate it, you don't need to do social media if you hate it. I know I say that a lot in case anybody has heard me say that, but I really want to emphasize you don't need to. Um, it might be like creating videos that are helpful for people. Like there are so many different options for those other two marketing strategies. But I always think of like you have this website, but then the other four marketing strategies essentially lead people to that website.
Yeah, I actually do have an Instagram account, but it's very young. I've only
Hmm.
made 6 posts so far.
Okay.
And not a lot of people are finding it.
Yeah, yeah. Six posts, you're not going to have a lot of followers yet. Like you're probably right on track with that. How often are you posting?
It varies. I'm not posting regularly because I'm also kind of having a hard time figuring out what to say.
Okay, okay, I got you on that. So let me see if I can find it real quick and I'll put it in the chat. This is written for how to come up with blog post ideas, but it really works for any content. Um, I can't talk and type at the same time. Um, so if you're going to need to open this in another window because when we close this, you won't have it anymore. But this helps come up with different blog post ideas slash any kind of content, essentially. This helps you brainstorm. And a really great tool you can use is just like as soon as you're done with a session, write down major themes or look through old notes because your clients are like within your niche are experiencing so much overlap, right? And so you could even look through your website copy as it is now and figure out what pieces um, could be fleshed out more. Like what's going to be um, like, oh, I could actually do a four-part series about this one sentence, essentially, because we do so much high-level stuff on our websites when we know so much. We also make this mistake as of therapists where we forget that we know things other people don't know. We are truly experts in human emotion and behavior. And we just think everybody knows that like hiding from your feelings doesn't work and that you should feel them. And that's the only way out is through. And like all these things that we say a million times a day in our sessions feel so obvious and commonplace to us, but like we're saying it because our clients don't know it. Um, and Monica, with your folks, like thinking about their experience of grief, like, um, you could do a whole thing on like how awkward it is to see somebody that you haven't seen since this person you love died. Like you don't know if they know, and like you don't know if you're supposed to just casually mention it. Um, it's a downer anytime certain people see you because they like get all pitiful about you, and just like the way it feels to be alone in the quiet of your house. Like there are so many different things that you know so deeply because you talk to your clients about it all the time that I mean, there's like a cornucopia of content right there that would help people be like, okay, she really knows what I'm going through.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Who else? Oh, it was going to be Danielle next. Hey.
Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So I have two questions, and
Yeah.
one is when you look over your whole business empire that you have built,
Uh-huh.
what do you feel has been like a game changer, either marketing tool or resource, something you did to really help grow your business where you saw like the needle move?
Yeah. So when you talk about the whole empire, are you talking about abundance or are you talking about my practice? Because those are going to be different answers.
Right. I put both here, but I didn't know
Mhm.
if I didn't know if I had time. So I said
Yeah.
for your practice and then also abundance.
Okay, cool. So for my practice, hands down, it's networking and like forming real relationships.
Okay.
Often when I say networking, everybody thinks of, if you guys read my newsletter, like a one night stand, right? Like you go out and you have coffee with someone one time and that was great. The end. Now they're supposed to send me referrals. And it does not happen like that by and large. Instead, it's like kind of like dating. Like you go out on a lot of coffee dates with people or Zoom dates or whatever, and you decide like, yeah, this was a really easy connection. Like Daniel and I could have talked for 4 hours. And that's the person that you then invest more time in getting to know and actually create a real friendship with because you really like them because like it's easy and you're not having to fake it. And in that relationship, you're going to trust each other with referrals. Um, a kind of tricky part that happens is sometimes people who are starting their business or starting their practice end up feeling that way about other people who are starting their practice. And so there's not a lot of like referrals that go on at first until both of them get full. And so that can be tricky. So making sure you're reaching out to some old timers too who have been open for a long time or full for a long time and building like genuine connection with them. And you don't need to reach back out and nurture the relationships with people where it felt stilted or awkward. And if it had been a date, you would not have wanted them to ask you on a second date, right? So just like real connection. So connection, I guess, is the answer for abundance. And that has worked in 3 different states. That has worked in like all my clients for the most part who have really thrown themselves into networking or like, yeah, that's the game changer for me. Um, so yeah, so that for abundance. For my practice, for abundance, I'd say perseverance because online business is a totally different animal. And I really, really thought that it was going to be like a just slightly more intense version of private practice from a like marketing and business development standpoint, but it is another animal. And that's my experience with abundance is part of why I'm like, y'all really need to not start a different income stream outside of your practice until your practice is exactly where you want it because it's another full-time job to get something off the ground. Um, I've been marketing abundance 5 days a week for 11 years almost. So like it is full on. And if you don't love what you're doing, if you're not like truly excited to build this thing, it's not going to bring you money because there's just so much banging your head against walls that if it's just for money, you can like optimize the hell out of your practice and make it amazing. So I would much rather you have a simpler life if you're not on fire about this other income stream. So yeah, perseverance because had really hard moments in abundance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Okay, my second question was, um, and I don't know if you label yourself as a coach when it comes to abundance, but that's
Mhm.
where I was. Okay. When it comes to abundance, what do you feel? Well, when it comes to being a therapist or being a coach, what do you feel like most therapists or coaches are missing that they
Mm.
could be doing more
Ooh. I think it's with therapy, it's harder, right? Because there are so many different modalities, right? So I don't know what's missing from psychoanalysis, right? So I don't know if your practice is where you want it and I don't know clinically what you're missing, but I can say with coaching, what gets missed is because it's such a different model. I see a lot of coaches out there looking desperate. Nobody is attracted to desperation. And so when they're trying to get clients in, there's like I'm going to distinguish this from being annoying. Like I'm willing to be annoying in abundance. I will send you 500 emails about something whose doors are closing today because I truly believe that for the people who join, it's going to change their world. I'm willing to be annoying there, but I see coaches start there. And when it doesn't get what they want, they kind of get almost like blamey and whiny. So they'll be like, I saw one the other day. I'm really going to need your support in order to keep this going. And like, people don't
of?
care about you keeping it going. Like, that's your job. Your job is to serve them, not for them to help you.
Mhm.
And so, um, because it's harder to be found in the coaching world than it is in the therapy world, I have a good friend who's a psychologist who started a coaching business. She's brilliant. She's amazing at everything she does. And she was like, I really took for granted the um, credibility afforded to me just by virtue of being a licensed therapist, being a psychologist. She's like, these people who want to do a discovery call with me for coaching immediately don't trust me. And that was never my case with like somebody wanting to have a free consult with me as a therapist. So I would say for both, being really clear that if you're a therapist in your therapist job, you're a therapist, and like you're not using coaching. You might be using some of the same things you use in coaching from a like how you're working with clients, but you're not using coaching like ways of being, or you keep your therapist boundaries, you keep your therapist marketing. Um, and when you're a coach, you just have a lot more leeway, frankly. And so that can like you can use testimonials, you can use things that really help people decide to choose you. But ultimately, what I see for people is it's easier for them to get chosen as a therapist in private practice than as a coach out in the world. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you so
Mhm.
much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Somebody raised their hand, I believe, before Lavelle. Did I make that up? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, it was Weston. You would raise your hand, Weston, and then Lavelle, and then we'll come to Farhad.
Yeah, thank you. Other folks have asked a lot of my questions I had already, which is great. So I guess one quick question and then more some feedback. So, on social media, that's not a strategy I'm going to really wanting to focus on or target, but I was wondering, toying with the idea of like a Facebook business page, and I wondered, is that alone like a good way just to, I'm thinking a lot of my people in my niche are going to be on Facebook. It's LGBTQ people over 50 who are needing some support around kind of age transition issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they're on Facebook, a lot of Gen X folks and
Yeah.
boomer age. So yeah, and
Us
so
Gen X folks.
so what are your thoughts about that idea, I guess? Like is that worth pursuing? Even if I'm not doing like constant social media posts, which I kind of don't want to do. But
You would still need to be really consistent for it to count as like an
okay.
actual marketing strategy. So like posting at least 3 times a week, and posting in ways that your people want to see. So reels are still the thing that bring the most people in. Um, and thinking about like what kind of reel does your ideal client want to see, right? Like there's so many trends out there that you could hop on that your people would be like, I don't get it. What are you doing? I say that as a Gen Xer myself. Sometimes I'm like, I don't understand what's happening here. And then some of them are just going to be really clear and fun for them, or informational or educational. So to make sure that if you do choose it, you are consistent, and you can batch them. That's what I do. Like I do basically all of my social media in 2 days, and then just schedule it out because I can't be on the hook every single day and feel like it just makes me anxious. And then I don't want to do it. But if I batch it, I'm cool with doing it because it's just my job for the day. So,
Yeah, no, that's really helpful in thinking how I would approach that
mhm,
strategy and what that would work and work that would entail. I also, so with that, I'm on my website too. I really frame it a lot around like loss and change associated with aging, because I
mhm,
kind of want to pull in different concerns like grief,
mhm,
caregiving, peri-retirement, like those kinds of things, the stressors
mhm,
that come. And I guess I'm wondering, I mean, 6 months, 6 weeks in, a couple people have called,
mhm.
just wondering when do I need to like niche down further, or is that what feedback do I look for, I guess, in terms of, where I need to niche down further or target marketing to specific concerns within that. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the concierge practices, I'm looking at, hospice agencies and,
Mhm.
things like others have mentioned too. So, but just wondering what your thoughts are about that too.
Yeah. So I think niche wise, you're probably good. If you're talking specifically about the struggles they're having with aging, like, you can list them on your website, flesh them out on like the daily lived experience that your ideal client is experiencing. So if it's, I might want you to be more clear about the aging piece. Like, because your people aren't yet finding like a loss of independence, but um, they're more hemmed in maybe than they've ever been. If they're caring for aging parents or caring for other loved ones, if they're getting sick, um, So I feel like you're niche, but if you start to see a pattern in who's calling, and that's a sub niche that you really enjoy, then I'd hop on it.
Sure.
Um, yeah. And I mean, you're this generation, this is the generation that went through the AIDS crisis, right? And so there's so much hurt that and so much fear around medical stuff for a lot of folks that I think weaving that in to some extent, like you don't necessarily have to be like, do you remember when everybody hated you real bad in the 80s and blamed you for everything, but um, there's a lot of grief that these folks have already felt watching friends die. And um, there was a good bit of that when they were pretty young, and now they're at the age where there's going to be a good bit of it also just because of aging. So
Right.
there's some bringing up old stuff that might happen that you could speak to.
Which to your point could be like a focus of some posts or content as well. I could
Hmm.
think about. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's really helpful. Thank you,
Good.
Allison. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yep. Let's see. So we're going to go Lavelle and then Farhad after that. Yeah.
Hi, Allison.
Hi.
Um, so I don't know that I have super specific questions, but maybe just some reminders of where to head. So I'm seeing couples primarily now.
Hmm.
See some individuals still, but my marketing is primarily to couples. And I
Hmm.
know we have talked previously about niching down from couples. The couples isn't a niche, and I know that.
Hmm.
And for a while, I had kind of niched to kind of conscious uncoupling and people who are going through the divorce process or separation process or whatever. Um, I'm not finding that that's where I want to go.
Hmm.
And so I'm still just really general couples.
Hmm.
Um, and haven't found like a niche that feels like I can maintain that for a long time kind of thing. Other,
Okay.
other than that. Um, and I just got a new office and so I'm ready to just really build, build, build.
Hmm.
So just a reminder of where to head. Um,
Yeah.
I haven't been able to be consistent with social media. I have social media, but I haven't been able to be consistent with that. So I definitely have a website. I definitely have Psychology Today. Um, Networking wise, my plan is now that school's started and all us moms are a little bit more free,
Hmm.
to do like just to initiate a weekly coffee for therapists and to invite all my friends. Like
Uh-huh.
that feels a little bit more doable than, coffee with one person and one person and one person and one person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I'm going to initiate just a therapist Tuesdays coffee kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just kind of consistently invite people to that to build, like you're saying, real friendships.
Hmm.
That feels like doable as far as networking. But do I do the doctor's offices? Do I do the um, you know, yeah, just thoughts on where to head with that.
Yeah. Well, I want more specificity with the niche first.
I know.
So I think it might be like, well, what model are you using primarily with couples?
Probably closest to EFT, not
Okay.
Gottman as much, but more EFT.
Okay. And what's your favorite, like, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment combo? Like, what's your favorite kind of couple from that lens?
Oh, probably that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, I mean, that in and of itself, when we put it in client language, is a niche.
Okay.
Like that push pull, that like, I can't get enough, I need some space. Just talking about that dynamic really clearly on your website, that's a niche.
Oh,
Yeah, because the niche is
never
the
thought of
problem.
that.
Yeah, the niche is the problem, and that's the problem for them, right? And we mix in some communication issues and like, just some maybe family of origin stuff that is
Mhm.
kind of just all of us have family of origin stuff, right? And there's like a clarity there that you can then spring from.
So, so the way I would describe how I work more is this may sound silly, but inner child couples therapy.
Mhm.
So I am working a lot with inner child experiences, family of origin, childhood wounds, that kind of thing, and bringing that into the relationship dynamic. Like where is that coming from? What is coming up?
Mhm.
Does everybody do this, or is this just me?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us do it. But so here's my
Yeah.
question from a marketing perspective.
Uh-huh.
Is that what your ideal clients are interested in before they meet you?
My ideal client, what they say when they come in
Mhm.
is we just need to learn how to communicate better, every single one of them,
Okay,
right?
perfect. Yeah.
But what they mean is, and I say to them, I can teach you communication in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
The problem is that your inner child stuff comes up and you're triggered and all the things. So you can't communicate the way you're supposed to. So
Mhm.
are you willing to go there? And they
Mhm.
say yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. We want to know why we're reacting like this.
Okay, good. So what they want is to communicate better.
Yes, that's
When
what
they
they
come
say.
in, from a marketing perspective, that's where you go. I
Okay.
don't think you need to bring up inner child work because until they've sat across from you and they trust you, they're gonna be like I think about like an avoidant attachment,
Yes, it's gonna roll their
cis
eye.
white het male, like being like, what the fuck, like I want to talk to my inner
Totally.
child, But once they've sat across from you or virtually sat across from you, and they are like, okay, yeah, that's totally true. I do like I can learn how to communicate, but I can't seem to make myself do it.
Right.
And that opens them up. So
Okay.
it's like
So go toward communication.
yeah.
Okay.
Talk about communication, talk about that dynamic that this couple has with the anxious and avoidant, and they'll see themselves in it so that they'll choose you.
Okay.
And you can talk about, like unhealed things potentially. Like I'd be careful with the language that you're vetting it through each person in the couple. Because inevitably there's going to be one person in the couple who's more down for it, and
Right.
the other person who's like, I don't even know what you're talking about right now when you start talking about things like inner child.
Who, me? I had a great childhood.
Right? My parents were fine. It was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful. And then so doctor's offices and those kinds of things as well, or really like focusing on the networking with other couples therapists, with other individual.
Yeah. I think it depends on your ideal client. Like most of the time in couples, it's the woman looking and calling.
Mhm,
So thinking about her and who is she talking to, or what is she searching, or where is she going when she's like, we need help.
mhm,
If she's Googling, then it's SEO. If it's talking to her doctor because she's so stressed out, she's about to snap, then it's her doctor.
mhm,
And if she's searching and it's SEO, then it might be finding the other couples therapists on the first page of Google, connecting with them,
mhm,
because they maybe, hopefully, are full and can send you folks.
mhm.
Um,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Farhad.
Hi, so I'm trying to figure out spaces for doing more public speaking
Mhm.
and speak around topics around my niche, which is the gentle souls who beat themselves up relentlessly and not feeling good enough, even though they've tried multiple things like traditional therapy, yoga, self-help books. And I thought about speaking in spaces where people might feel these issues, and one of them was like religious and spiritual spaces where they might not feel like deserving. And I'm going to start speaking in like my own like Muslim spaces that I know in these issues, and I want to start speaking in other faith centers as well.
Mhm.
But I feel like I might be like out of place. So I've thought about like coordinating with like, their spiritual leaders or pastors, rabbis, or other folks, and then or bringing in another therapist who might belong in that faith, and then we speak about issues, those type of issues. And I don't know if you have a different approach or if you think that's okay. And also, I'm trying to figure out other spaces as well, but I'm not really familiar. I mean, I figured like my ideal client would go like to a yoga studio, or maybe they would, and obviously like maybe going to a doctor, but I'm kind of blanking out on like what spaces would allow for public speaking, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I did have a small question. Um, Business cards, I don't know whether or not to put a photo or maybe like a niche, like my niche in there too. So I don't know if you have any
Mhm.
thoughts on that too.
Yeah, I think a niche for sure. Because that also helps people remember you.
Mhm.
Like put your name with your niche. And then you can do a photo. I think when most people see photos on business cards, I think realtors, which is not a bad thing, but I think like I've seen them done well by therapists, but I would definitely, if you had to choose, I'd put a niche over a picture.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in terms of spaces to speak, I think like a yoga studio, if they do workshops and things like that there, that could be good. I love the idea of like faith communities. Um, so Elmira brought up public libraries. Depending on your library, that could be a good get. And how it's marketed. And anybody else who has ideas also throw stuff in the chat. Um, think about like college campuses, if there's one nearby. Um, there are a lot of us sensitive folks out there, right? Like tender-hearted people, and it's a rough world. So having a good place to land to process that's important. Yeah, I mean, social media could be so good for you if you wanted to do it. Again, don't have to touch it with a 10-foot pole if you don't want to. Um, definitely other therapists. I think also a lot of like women therapists too, because some people really are going to work better with a man, especially like a sensitive man. Like it feels so safe and affirming and like like a corrective experience for some women. Um, and some guys just really want to see a man. Yeah. So Danielle says reaching out to corporations that value workplace wellness for sure. Um, I think there's a lot of buzz around like workplace wellness right now. We'll see how long it lasts as our economy tends to shift and change and if they're willing to keep paying for it. But that's often a talk that or a workshop you could do, either one that you could get paid for.
Mhm.
So, and you could probably like reach out to HR to start that conversation. They could direct you.
Okay. Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Anybody else want to ask a question? We've got time for one more. And it's okay to go again if somebody who hasn't gone isn't hopping in.
If someone hasn't gone, I have a question, but if you have, it's totally
Okay. Well, go for it, Danielle. And because I think you raised your hand before anybody else did.
fine. Okay, so my question is, and I'll be really quick, is so I have a coaching business that I started while last year that is
Hmm.
thriving, is doing really, really well.
Hmm.
I just got my license as a therapist a month ago.
Oh,
So
congrats.
now, thank you. So now I'm figuring out, okay, I paused marketing on my coaching, but I'm still seeing my clients in coaching
Hmm.
to build my therapy practice.
Hmm.
And so I want to figure out how are you managing your schedule and what that looks like?
Hmm.
Because I do want both of these businesses to move and go, but I'm just
Hmm.
like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm already like very full time with coaching, which is really good, but the therapy piece is also is something I would not let go of. People tell me just let it go. I would not.
Hmm.
I'm passionate about it. So
Yeah.
I just want to know how you're managing your schedule, your time, what that looks like.
Yeah. How about I tell you to do as I do and or do as I say, not as I do. Because in my ideal world, and when I've had the best boundaries around it, I've had like a day or a part of a day that is distinctly for therapy.
Mhm.
And a day or a part of the day that is distinctly for not boring Cs. And then the rest of the time is abundance, basically. And that is when I feel most grounded and most
Mhm.
clear-headed. And it is 100% what is like the best schedule for me. Now, I'm the one who's messing that up sometimes. Like it's not like my team's not putting people in the wrong times. They're kind of on me for putting people in the wrong times. So um, it's it's that task shifting because it is a different mindset to be coaching than it is to be doing therapy. And I think that it is safer in that distinction to have like different times or different days for each,
Mhm.
so that you don't kind of slide into therapy mode when you're coaching or vice versa.
Right.
But like today, I had 2 therapy sessions and then lunch and then this. So I'm breaking my own rule today as we speak. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then we could do a quickie. Monica, do you want to hop in for a quick one?
Sure, thanks for calling on me. So as I mentioned before, I'm an online grief therapist for women. And when people ask me, like civilians ask me what I do, and I tell them, some people, there's like 2 out of 3 people who will be like, "Oh, that sounds horrible."
Yep.
So I'm
Hmm.
wondering, like, how can I talk about my business in a way that inspires people?
Hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, you could say I help people going through really tough grief so that they can live full lives again. Like
Okay.
that kind of thing. I used to get the same reaction when I worked with kids who'd been sexually abused. Like nobody, like that is a party killer right there. And I'd be like, no, no, but you don't understand. Like they're so strong and they're so resilient and like they're normal kids. Like, but I had to just start leading with the benefit of like, I work with these really amazing kids who've been through hard things, like that kind of thing. So I think
Awesome.
focusing on the reason that you love it, which is that they're amazing and they get to have these different kinds of lives, that they might not have felt was possible before they started working with you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we can do one more quickie. Lavelle, you want to hop in there?
Sure, mine was kind of a more logistical question.
Yeah.
I feel behind the times. Um, so I have never gotten really great about um having a like a HIPAA compliant email platform.
Hmm.
Um, and that's kind of like this hurdle that I need to get over
Uh-huh.
so that I can, send emails to people about my blogs or, anything like that. And so, um, what would you recommend on that?
Hmm.
And then, like I need one for former clients who opt in to kind of a marketing type email.
Hmm.
And, there's just like so many pieces, like I want it on my website so people can opt in, and I want it where my clients can opt in, and
Yeah.
we have separate email lists. It just feels so overwhelming for me right now.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're sending an email newsletter, that does not need to be HIPAA compliant.
Okay,
And you cannot add people to it without them saying,
opt in.
yes, add me to this very clearly.
Right.
And if it's a client, you would need to document that in your session notes just in case. But otherwise, they would all need to opt in from your website. So, I mean, you could use something like MailChimp or Aweber or these kind of like free or super cheap ones.
Okay.
And that would be the best way to do that.
Okay. And just
So,
live with my website and then say, clients, if you want to opt in, go to my website.
yeah,
And then it
yeah,
doesn't have to be connected to therapy at all. It's just a marketing
correct.
thing.
Yeah. And you could, I mean, like what I did, because I don't know how to make technology play with each other. And
Yeah.
I had tried when I first started Abundance, I tried so hard. I went on Upwork.com and I said, I will give anybody $25 to make this work.
On my
Because
website.
I knew, huh?
On your website, you mean? You make like
Yeah, to
your
make
website and
my
MailChimp
like
work or
lead
whatever.
gen thing work with my email system and have it on my website because somebody who knows how to do that can do that in like less than 5 minutes. So it's a quick $25, but for me, I'd been working on it for freaking hours and was ready to
Yeah,
snap my laptop in half. So
right, right.
$25 it was, and it was handled within the day. So don't be afraid to reach out to some folks
Okay.
like post a job on something like Upwork and yeah,
Okay. Super helpful.
awesome. Yay. Thank you everybody for coming. And yeah, I'm around for those of you in the party. Feel free to ask questions in the Facebook group. If you're not in the party, then I mean join us. It's awesome. Great. I'll see y'all later.